I'm Winnie Malcolm, and on this week's LUXEGIRL, I'm joined by Hannah Adkins, ELIZA BATTEN and Hope Marsh for the LUXEGIRL group chat. Plus, we have a seriously stylish high street keep versus return with Annie GODHANIYA and a huge £500 giveaway to spend with SUNDAR Bay. Plus, a day in the life with LUXEGIRL's social media manager.
Right, first text is in.
Is it okay to check your boyfriend's phone?
I think if you're checking his phone, there's obviously an issue in the relationship, whether it's like trust issues or there's some sort of situation and you need to check his phone. I think just confronting him face to face, because what would be the reason why you need to check his...
there, unlocked, open, and you're just walking past, like, would you have a look or not?
I feel like if you trust him, what would be the reason to check
if it was
his
there?
phone?
And what do you check?
Yeah, what are you looking at? Like messages or
And what do you? If you're to check,
if it was open, I don't think I would check. But if I were to, I don't really know.
I reckon WhatsApp search your name. See what he says about you.
Oh! That alarmingly quickly. Oh my god, that is so like deep. Oh my god,
no, I don't know. I did once check my boyfriend's phone, and unfortunately, I did find stuff you don't want to read.
Yeah.
So, does that mean that I was right to check it because there was stuff there, or would it have been better not to check it? Ignorance is bliss. I don't know.
Well, everybody says the same thing. Everybody always says, like, don't look, because if you look, you'll always find something. But I think I've got a theory that if you are looking, it's because there are trust issues and maybe there's like a reason or you've seen a red flag. And so that's why you'd find something. Like, I might be naive, but I genuinely believe if I went through my whole of my boyfriend's phone, I don't think I would find anything. But that's not been the case with exes. And then when you do check their phone, there is always something, because you have those kind of slight...
The thing is, I now take on the mantra, I wouldn't want them going through my phone, whether I've got something tied or not.
Yeah.
I just think it's an invasion of privacy. And 100% somewhere in some sort of thread, there would be something that's not that pleasant about whoever I'm seeing or going out with, because you will sometimes have a rant to your best mates about
very
him.
true, that's very
And then
true.
he might read it, even though it was a year ago when you're 3 weeks into dating, and be like, oh, what? That's so hurtful.
Yeah.
But actually, no, out of context, you can read into things differently.
That's so
and
true.
if I don't want them reading my phone, then I should give them that same respect, really.
And I think it's just about how you interpret it as well. Like, sometimes the way you speak with a friend, like, can be
Quite harsh.
quite harsh. Or even, like, say if you have a friend who's like the opposite sex or the sex that you're attracted to, and you just have that dynamic.
Oh,
Because
that
I
sort of friend,
have a best friend who's a guy, and I'm like, oh, love you, you're great, la la la. And so it just depends if my boyfriend's in that space where he's trying to find something and he's like, oh, what's this?
That's so true.
It's just really difficult to explain, like, no, this is my literally my best friend, and then it becomes really messy. So it's all about the lens that you're looking through when you're finding something, because even if nothing's there, you might find something, you know?
And if you're looking, you're expecting to find something. So that is actually such a good point, because if you're looking, you're semi, whether you tell yourself that or not, you're semi expecting to find something.
Yeah.
So then anything you see, you're going to be like, oh, I knew it, this is it, blah, 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 even if it's actually nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
So that's true.
I actually will confess, and to be fair, I would bracket myself in Psycho with this story. I read said person's phone, found something I didn't like, and then I didn't want to confess that I'd read the phone, so I then had to come up with a plot of how do I expose him without saying I've read the bloody phone. So I went down a very precarious route of saying I'd been to a psychic.
You are joking. You are joking.
And that the psychic had said that there's this person that your boyfriend likes. And so I said this to him. I said, I went to a psychic and she said that there's someone you like that's not me. Who would it be? And he was going, what, you're ridiculous, there's no one. I said, but if it was someone, who would it be? And he said, well, if it was someone, it would be this person. And I went, bingo. If he hadn't given me that, I'd have been dead end. Like, I wouldn't have had much to work with. But because he then said the person, I was like, bingo, I can ride with that. And I went, well, why would the psychic say this?
Yeah.
And anyway, it all unravelled. I think he bought the story, so if he ever watches this is dead awkward.
Oh no.
I was tossing and turning. I was like, do I confess this? Has it been long enough? Like, it's a funny story when I'm 50, but maybe it's too early.
That is one of the best stories I've ever heard.
No, but as in, like, I look back and I think, that's Psycho, and that I'm the one that sets the stereotypes for all you girls, so I'm sorry.
But is there ever like a right way to check? or never? Is it just wrong?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is
just
there-
wrong. Unless you
Yeah.
check it with them there and
Yeah.
they give you full permission, you go
Yeah.
through it
Fine, yeah.
together, holding hands and
Like,
singing
come on,
goodbye.
This is true. And I know you're making a joke out of that, but that's actually a really good point, because there have been things that have come up where I've been like, I can't give you any examples because I can't remember, but there have been things where I'm like, maybe I've seen something or somebody pop up that I'm a bit like, wait, who's that? I've never heard that name. So I would just very openly be like, who's that that's text you? And then he'll be like, I don't explain who it is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
can you just show me? He'll be like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how chilled it is, because, and I get there's some people out there that are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't even ask.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
it's so chill.
No, I know, but it's so unrealistic to set a standard where, like, because I do think that's dangerous to some extent, to set a standard where, to be a cool girlfriend, you can't ever ask any questions. Like, you have to trust everything they say, never go through their phone, never do anything. That is such like a dangerous standard to set, because really, if you've got a really loving, open, like, trusting relationship, it's no big deal to say who's just texted you, and he's like, I don't know, it's like my cousin.
Yeah,
and you're
because
like, cool.
they know that you like them
Yeah.
and like you care.
Yeah, but I find it quite suffocating if I'm always being asked every time my phone pops up.
But you
Yeah.
wouldn't always
No,
be
but,
asked, would
but
you?
even like a couple, even one, I don't know, and maybe that reflects on me, but I find it quite accusational.
Yeah,
when
it's
it's
like,
my
oh,
way.
like that.
like
No
someone
way.
like possesses you, they're like, oh,
Yeah,
you
like,
know,
who's that?
It's quite
And I'm going,
possessive.
oh, I
It's
can-
like
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
I don't know, but then maybe that reflects on me.
But it's a bit like that, isn't it? If you're going out, it's like, where are you going? It's just like, oh my god,
yeah.
ow.
Hi everyone, my name's Annie and I am a fashion and lifestyle influencer, and today I am doing a keep or return series with LUXEGIRL.
We both know what we want, let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning. We both know what we want, let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So won't you let me trip with you? Leading on fire, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip with you? Leading on fire, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me? So won't you let me? So won't you let me? I dream that if I can hold you close, you can be my antidote. Let me run away with you tonight. Let us leave the world behind. Give in, keep yourself thinking. Tonight, let go as you're dreaming. I was feeling down low, you just promised.
Hi LUXEGIRL, I'm Daisy. I'm a social media exec here at SheerLuxe, and this is what I get up to in a day.
So I started my day super early and headed down to Cobox for an unreal boxing session. Then I rewarded myself with a smasher smoothie, had a quick shower and then headed off on my commute to work. Before I got to the office, I had to stop at Lockdown Bakehouse to get an oat cappuccino, which is so good. Anyway, headed off to the office, bumped into Ali. There we are, SheerLuxe. Came into the office, turned all the lights on. I think I was the first one here today. New sign, love it. Caught a quick OOTD pick in the lift. I was heading up to see the editorial team, they're all busy at work. So I spent the first half of my morning checking through emails and sorting through new influencer content. We have some really cool collabs lined up. Scrolling TikTok for the latest trends. I did a big reach out to new brand partnerships. Here I'm uploading the weekly podcast and adding the mid-roll advert. And then I worked with the design team to create some assets. So I looked over my weekly schedule to see if we've got everything in. It's nearly the end of the month, which equals end of month stats. Yay! I pulled through our top performing content, had a look at all of our profile engagement rates. And next up, favorite time of the day, sushi time. And after lunch, I scheduled some Pinterest content and assisted our senior videographer on a few IGTV edits. Here's me clearly doing a lot of work. Had a sneak peek at the new show set. It looks amazing. This is where we film LUXEGIRL and SheerLuxe. And fast forward to the end of the day, it's Thirsty Thursday, so obviously I'm going to go and get a seltzer from the fridge. Now for an exciting part of my day, a PR notified me of a cool new collab with Fiorucci and Napoli Gang, so I headed into Soho after work to capture some content. Cheers! This was amazing. And that's a quick day in my life.
I think we had a text. Interesting. Oh, is it really true that everyone has insecurities, and how do you deal with them?
I think everyone has insecurities, but it can be about the tiniest things. It doesn't always have to be in relation to a boyfriend.
Yeah.
It could be like, my nose angle slightly to the left, or whatever it is. Or I always get, I'll probably come away from this feeling like, holy moly, I've confessed a bit too much, and I'll get a bit insecure about that. But, you know, we all have little bits of them. What was the question that followed? How do you deal with them? I think dealing with them is the tricky part, and I think if we knew, we wouldn't have them.
I wouldn't even say dealing with it. I think you just need to admit. I think acceptance.
There you go.
Thank you.
Accepting
Yeah.
who you are, and that there's only one of you, and that you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. So there's no point dwelling on, like, it's easier said than done, I feel like. I think
Sorry, go on.
It's just a self-love process. I think that takes time. There's no like time when you should think you should like fully love yourself. I think it is just like, I think it just will take time.
I think one of the things that I've 100% learned about insecurities is that the way I know they're not really real, like when I get insecure about something now, I'm like, oh, I don't like this about my body, or I don't like this about my face, or whatever it might be. I remember, okay, but when you were 14, you were so insecure about this thing about yourself, and now I never think about it.
Yeah.
So for me, insecurities, like throughout my life, they've come up, and it's like the biggest thing. Like boobs, I swore blind. The minute I was 18, I was getting a boob job. I was definitely getting a boob job. By the time I got to 18, I wasn't at all bothered about the size of my boobs, and I never think about it now. And there are so many things, like I have a birthmark on my ankle. When I was, 13, that was like, in PE, my socks would be up here so no one could see it. And it really, really affected me. I wouldn't wear skirts. I would always wear trousers. I couldn't care less. When people are like, what's that? Which people sometimes do, which I'm like, it's not very sensitive. But when people ask, like, what's that? Like, if you'd asked me that at 13, it would have been traumatic. But I'm like, I don't know, it's a birthmark. Who cares? Yeah. So that's how I comfort myself with insecurities. I'm like, cool, you really hate your ears this week, which I have, by the way. I've hated my earlobes. That was a whole thing. Yeah, I have a lot. But when I think something stupid, I just think, okay, we've been here before, Hannah. We've been here before. Guess what? In 2 years' time, you'll think this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
honestly,
I completely agree.
Embrace the things that you're insecure about, because, like, I grew up such big lips. Even my sisters, they don't have big lips or anything like that. They tease me about it. At school, everyone will be like, oh my God. And now everyone's like, oh, have you had your lips done? And everyone on Instagram's getting their lips done. So one thing, you just have to be comfortable with yourself, because trends change. I remember growing up when skinny was like the thing, and now everyone wants a big butt, and now everyone doesn't want big boobs anymore, but they did. And like, if you're chasing that and trying to fit in, you're just never going to be happy with yourself. You just need to embrace those things that you have, because those are the things that are going to make you stand out to others, and also empower other girls and people to just be comfortable in the flaws, but they're not really flaws.
But I do think, like, just to answer the first question, I do think, well, I absolutely, as I've said, 100% still have insecurities now. Like, I can post 1 million Instagram pictures, like I can film myself, like, for YouTube. It doesn't mean I don't feel things. Like, I think some people, like, would maybe look at that and maybe look at, like, the jobs that you guys have as well and think, well, they're clearly so confident. Yeah, like, I couldn't post pictures like that. That's not necessarily true, and I genuinely think everybody does have certain things. It might be physical, it might not be, but insecurities.
I was about to say, the physical one, but you're right in saying, like, you're stuck with what you've got, so you've got to sort of crack on. I think actually I find it harder when I'm insecure about a sort of personality trait. That's something I find harder to deal with and accept, because it is changeable in a way that you can't, like, change parts of your body,
Yeah.
you sort of can, if there is something, you can sort of work on it. And then I find that harder because it, unlike a physical attribute that you just sort of have to go, I have to crack on and accept. If I'm insecure that sometimes I'm a bit loud in a group and actually I should reel it in, that's something I can work on. And then it seems like, oh, but I don't want to, it's so hard. Like, I don't know. And I feel the personality ones affect me more if someone says something unkind about a personality trait that sets off a bigger
that's
insecurity
hard. Yeah, definitely.
for me than someone saying like, oh.
But honestly, you know what you just said? I don't know if anyone ever has said that to you, but if anybody ever says to you, or says about you, or you're worried about yourself, like, I'm too loud, they're probably thinking that because they're worried they're too quiet. Like, you have to understand if you're if things are being said by someone else, or you're worried what someone else thinks, they're only going to think those things if they've got an insecurity of their own.
But then perhaps sometimes when I am too loud in a group, this is getting real deep, guys, therapy, settle in. Am I too loud because I'm insecure, so I make up for it in being like the
out there.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, and that's like good to know, because then for the other person who's in the room, it's like, God, I don't say anything. Like, Eliza talks all the time. I look really shy.
Yeah.
Then they're like, actually, no, that's just Eliza's way of being like feeling confident in herself. So
Yeah.
How much is this going to cost me?
That was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I cannot wait until the next time.
I'm absolutely wiped.
Same.
Information overload.
Right. Therapy sessions.
No,
Yeah.
it's good.
I've definitely taken things away from this and like gonna implement.
I'm going straight to read my boyfriend's phone, you?
Yeah. Tune in next Sunday as the founder of Rotaro, a fashion rental platform, Georgie Hyatt, has £100 to spend in a charity shop challenge, and she pulls some uber cool looks.